Hello everybody, my name is Umpimetsi, also known as Re. I'm a maths and science tutor, and today I'll do grade 8. And please don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that every time when I upload a video, you will be notified, okay? So, today, like I said, I'll do a question paper of grade 8. June exam 2016. Okay, so let's start. Question 1 says consider the following numbers and then answer the questions below. It's 5 marks. Okay, so I'll start. First number, it's a mixed fraction. It's 2 3/4. You see, it's 2 3/4. The first number. The second number is negative 0,234. You see, and the third number is square root of negative 9. That's the third number. The fourth number is 25. It's 25. And the other number is 5/0. And the last number is 19. Okay, so we have these numbers. Okay, it's 2 3/4, negative 0,234, square root of negative 9, 25, 5/0, and 19. Okay, so the first question says from the list write down prime number. Okay, so here it's 1.1. So they want prime number. Okay, so before we can answer a question, what is a prime number? A prime number is a number that has 1 in itself. By then, what are prime numbers? Okay, let me give you first 4 prime numbers. 2 is a prime number because it has 1 in itself. 3 is a prime number because it has 1 in itself. 1 and 3. 5 is a prime number because it has, for the factors, it has 1 and 5. 4 is not a prime number. Why? Because factors of 4 is 1, 2, 4. So there are 3 factors, and prime number has 2 factors, like 1 in itself. 1 in itself, I mean, like when we say 5 is a prime number, it's 1 and 5. 5 only itself. You get it? So from these numbers, which one is a prime number? Okay, so the first one, it is a mixed fraction. Okay, so for mixed fraction, I'll press shift, then this, then I will say, okay, here it's 3/4. You see, it gives me decimals, which is 2,75. Okay, so this is not a prime number. This is not a prime number. You test. Negative square root of 9. Maths error. Square root can have a negative. Okay, so it's not a prime number. 25. Factors of 25. It's 1, 5, and 25. So it's not a prime number because it's not 1. It's not 1 and itself, which is 25. 5, it is also included. 5 over 0, 5 over divided by 0, maths error. You see? So it's not a prime number. But 19, it's a prime number. Why? Because factors of 19 is 1 and 19 only. Okay? So our first answer, our prime number is 19. So this is our prime number. Okay? So you should know prime numbers. Prime numbers, it's 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23. You see? So you should know prime numbers. You should know prime numbers. So the second question. Remember, the question says from the list below, write down. So now we should write a square number. So in this case, the question really say we should write a square number, which means we should write a number that is a perfect square. Okay, so remember, we'll focus on our list. This one gives us decimals, this one is decimals, this one is maths error. This one, 25 is a perfect square. Why do I say 25 is a perfect square? Because 5 multiplied by 5 is 25. Square root of 25, it's 5. It gives us a number, a proper number, you see. So that's why we say 25 is a perfect square. So our answer here is 25. So our answer is 25. Our answer is 25. You see? Okay. So the third question says, remember, for square numbers, it's like when we say square root of 9, it's 3. It's because 3 multiplied by 3, it's 9. 4 multiplied by 4, it's 16. 5 multiplied by 5 is 25. 6 multiplied by 6 is 36. 7 multiplied by 7 is 49. You know, just like that, just like that. So that one is for perfect. Those are perfect squares. Okay. So number 3 says an integer. You will get this type of a question when you write in June. You'll get these questions. Okay. So for integers, I normally tell tutors that when you do integer, you should remember a number line. Okay. So when I say number line, I'm talking about this. Like we have 0, before 0 we have negative numbers, and after 0 we have positive numbers. So okay. So from our numbers, we'll check, we'll test them. Okay. So remember, let me go back. Okay, so let's check our list here. Remember there, you don't choose just because on 1.1 I wrote 19 and on 1.2 I wrote 25. Doesn't mean that I won't use them again. I can use them again. Remember, the goal is to answer the question. They didn't say choose, they said write down, but it's 1 mark. So here it gives us decimals. So let's leave the decimals one. So this one is also decimal. This one is maths error, remember, and this one we say it's a perfect square. So this one can be on our number line. So 25 is an integer. But 5 divided by 0, it's maths error. And 19, it's a number. It can also be in a number line. Okay, so oh sorry, there's something that I'm missing at the bottom. I missed these numbers. We have another number which is negative 27 to the exponent 3. Okay, so I forgot, guys. Excuse, I wasn't aware of this. So let's test it in our calculator because we got the other ones. So it will be negative 27. Okay, so it's negative 3, which means negative 3 can also be in our number line. Okay, so for this question we can now write, now I'm answering the question, but it's 1 mark. So if you wrote 25 or 19 or cube root square of this, if you wrote either one of them, you are right because they are all integers. So it's 1 mark. So I don't think it's necessary to write the 3 of them, just write 1. Okay, so but I hope you understand integers. So okay, I'm doing this question at the same time I'm teaching you. Okay, and don't forget, guys, I also do lessons. I'm based in Northwest, but if you're far, like if you live at Cape Town, Johannesburg, and other places, we can work on WhatsApp. On WhatsApp I also do, there are 2 options. I do lessons in this way. I take a picture, then I explain what's on the picture. I show all my calculations, and another option is a WhatsApp lessons via video call. So I also do video calls. Okay, but make sure you have enough data. Okay, so let's do number 3. Number 4, I mean. So number 4 says 1.4. Okay, 1.4, a non-real number. A non-real number. Okay, so for us to check a non-real number, normally those are that numbers that give us maths error, because we don't have a real number for that number. Okay, so remember, we'll focus on our list. This one, it give us decimals. Remember, this one is also decimals. This one, let's check again. Okay, so we have square root of negative 9, maths error. So this is a non-real number. Do you get it? If it gives you maths error, it's a non-real number. So we already get our answer. So our answer here is square root of negative 9 because it's a non-real number. Okay, so number 5, it says a rational number. Okay, so this is T. So when we are talking about a rational number, are those numbers that give us decimals. Okay, so if we can check from our list, this number give us decimals. Okay, let's go back and check. It's 2 3 over 4. Okay, you see it give us 11 over 4, which is 2,75. Okay, so it's a rational number because it gives us decimals. So here we can say our rational number is 2 3 over 4. Remember, you write it the way as it is, okay, from those numbers that you are given, okay, and avoid that one of negative 0. Remember, I think no, but it can be right. Negative 0 comma 2 3 4 is a rational. No, can't be any rational, okay, because it's negative 0. Square root of negative 9, it's math error. Remember, 25 it's a perfect square, it's not a rational number. Yeah, but 25 can also be rational. Not only decimals, 25 can also be rational. Yeah, it's a rational number also. And this one that I wrote here, the answer of it is negative 3. It's also a rational number. Yeah, actually guys, there are many rational numbers. Not only decimals, even 5, like just a real number like 5. It's a rational number, okay? So that one is easy. So let's do question 2. So this was 5 marks. So but when you get 2 answers, write only one answer. Like I said, even here you should write only one answer, okay? So make sure. So let's go to question 2. Okay, so question 2 says determine the prime factors of 275 and 350. So like I said, you should know prime numbers. You can write prime factors without knowing what the prime number is and what are prime numbers, okay? So let's, okay, and it's 4 marks. So it's question 2 2.1, okay? So prime factors will use prime numbers but using factors, okay? So let's start with this one, 275, okay? So now I have 275. So remember, factors is 235, okay? We should test with the first ones first. 275 divided by 2, it gives us decimals. I don't want something that gives me decimals, so I'll test with by using 3 because 3 is also a prime number. It gives us decimals. Once it gives you fraction, which means it's a decimal, okay? Just like this one, it also gives us decimals, you see? So I was okay, 4 is not a prime number, but 5 is a prime number. Let's test with 5. 5 will give us a real number, okay? So let's say, okay, I'll write 5 here, okay? So 275 divided by 5, it's 55, okay? So here I'll write 55. So after I write 55, I will go back again and say 55 divided by 2 give us decimals. 55 divided by 3 gives us decimals. And I told you I don't want decimals. No, I want the real factors. Remember, now we want prime factors. Let me substitute 5 because 4 is not a prime number. Oh, it gives us a real number. So 55 divided by 5, okay? 55 divided by 5, it's 11. Okay? So when we have a 11, and remember, 11 is also a prime number. So which means after this step here it will also be 11, and 11 divided by 11 it's 1, because if you take the same number and you divide it with the same number, you will get 1. Okay, so after you get your answers, you should test it. Okay, so let's say, okay, I'll look what's on the left hand side. So I'll take my calculator and say 5 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 11. Okay, so give me 275. Give me this number. So my prime factors are correct. So but then I should check the second one, which is 350. So I'll do the same thing here and write 350. Okay, so you should take everything step by step, because one mistake, everything will be wrong. That's mathematics. So now we have another number which is 350. So like I said, we'll test with the small number first. So we'll say, okay, 350 divided by 2, because 2 is a prime number. You see, it gave us a real number. So okay, we'll write our 2 here, and our answer was 175. So I'll write 175 here. Okay, so I'll test with 175 and I'll say 175 divided by 2 gives me decimals, and I don't want decimals. Okay, so let's test with divide by 3. It gives us decimals, and I don't want decimals. Okay, let's go to 5. Remember, I'm using prime numbers. Okay, give me a real number. So I'll have to write 5 here. So here it will be 5, and 175 divided by 5 is 35. Okay, so after I got 35, remember now I'll have to use 35. So I'll say 35 divided by 2. It gives me decimals, and I don't want decimals. Divide by 3. It gives me decimals, and I don't want decimals. Divide by 5. Give me 7. Yeah, that's what I want. I'm happy now. So 35 divided by 5, it's 7. And 7 is a prime number. So I'll have to write 7 here. 7 divided by 7, it's 1. Okay. So remember, after all the steps, I have to test. I have to take what's on the left and multiply it to see if I will get 350. So I'll say 2 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 7 is 350. So my prime factors are right. Okay, so remember the question says determine the prime factors of 275 and 350. So here are my prime factors and here are my prime factors. So it's 2 marks, it's 2 marks, then you get 4 marks. You see, so it's simple, it's not that difficult. You should go step by step. Test with 2, test with 3, test with 5. Yeah, if it was a which number, yeah, 5, 7, 11. 9 is not a prime number. That is why I skipped 9. 9 is not a prime number. Okay, so yeah, let's do the next question. 2.2. Now determine the highest common factor of 275 and 350. Okay, so for the highest common factor, I will check both of them. Okay, remember, I will look for the numbers that are common, which means those numbers should appear on both sides. Okay, so I'll say, okay, for 2.2, I'll say, okay, let's look at this and let's look at this. Okay, right, so this side I have 5. 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 Do I have 2 this side? No. So this 2 it's out. Okay. 2 and I don't have 7 this side. And I don't have 11. So here I'll have 5 and 5. And here I'll have 5 and 5. You see? So which means I'll say, okay, my highest common factor is 5 multiplied by 5, and 5 multiplied by 5 is 25, which means 25 is the highest common factor of 275 and 350. Even if they give you 3 numbers, let's say you are given 275, 350 and 500, you should do this and check the 3 of them, which one appear on the 3 of them. If they are 3, even one number is appear on 2. It is not common for all of them. You should look for that number that are common in all of them, all those numbers that you are given. Okay, so let's do question 3. So this was 7 marks. This one is 3 marks. To write the highest common factor is 3 marks. So you should collect these marks. So question 3 says, calculate the following, showing working out where necessary. So which means this tells us that we should show our calculations. Okay, so this is question 3. It's question 3, right? So I just write Q3, but on your notes write question 3. Okay, so or when you write exam, write question in full. So 3.1, we are given negative 9 in brackets like this minus negative 5 in brackets like this. Okay, so we should break the brackets when we show our calculations. Okay, so here it's like negative 1 multiplied by a positive, because here we don't have anything. So negative multiplied by a positive is negative. So here, which means I'll have negative 9. Okay, so here it will be, it's the same as negative 1 because we don't have a number here. So it's negative 1 multiplied by negative 5, which is positive 5, because a negative multiplied by a negative is positive. So here we'll have 5. Okay, so after this step you'll test. Okay, and you'll say negative 5, negative 9 plus 5, how much? Negative 4. So our answer is negative 4. Okay, so in this case I showed my calculation and it's 2 marks, which means you'll get a mark here and for your final answer. Okay, so let's move. 3.2 is 3 marks. So 3.2 says, okay, remember we shall calculate. So our question is like this. Here it's positive and here it's negative 8 all over 2 in brackets. So remember, when you are given something like this, you should multiply what is outside the bracket with what is inside the bracket. Okay, so here, okay, let me do my first step. Here it's the same as positive 1 multiplied by negative 4, which is negative 4. Positive 1 multiplied by negative 8, which is negative 8, all over 2 multiplied by negative 3. It's negative 6, right? So I'll write negative 6 here. Right. So the next step, I'll say, okay, now I'm looking at my denominator because something is happening there. So I'll say, okay, negative 4 minus 8 is negative 12, right? So I'll write negative 12 divided by negative 6, which is 2. So my answer is 2. Okay, so this is your final answer for 3.2. So the answer is 2. Be careful of signs. Be careful of this sign, because wrong sign will give you a wrong value. Even if the answer is 2 and you wrote -2, your answer is wrong. Okay, if for your substitution it should be -12 divided by 6. You see it's negative divided by positive, it will be negative. Then you make the opposite. You should be careful when you do these questions. Okay, so a reminder, I said this on my first video. So on my first video on this channel, I said positive multiplied by positive is positive, negative multiplied by negative is positive, positive multiplied by negative is negative, negative multiplied by positive is negative. Same sign lead to positive, different sign lead to negative. Okay, so that's what you should know. This part you should know it, because even when you go to grade 9, this is for grade 10, this is for grade 11, and this is for grade 12. But for every T phase, for every T level, I mean, especially if you will do pure maths, this is very important. This is for you actually. Okay, so right, let's continue. That was a reminder. So yeah, let's do it. So question 3.3. So we have the last question for question 3, which is 3.3. Okay, remember the question says calculate the following. Okay, so question 3, we have square root of 25 minus square root of 8 to the exponent 3 outside the bracket plus -2 inside the bracket to the exponent 2, not 3. Okay, so for this question now, remember, we'll have to break this square roots. So remember, the square root of 25, it's 5, because 25 is a perfect square, right? So my first step here, I'll write 5. Then I'll press on my calculator and press shift. Then I press this square root. You see I have cube root there. So I'll write -8. Every time when you press a negative, press this button. If you use a Casio, press this button. Don't press subtraction. Okay, so our answer is -2. So I'll say -2, and here I should press it exactly as it is. Should open bracket -2 to avoid such mistakes to the exponent 2. Okay, which is 4, +4. Okay, so when it is like that, like this, you can press it on your calculator the way as it is. So our final answer will be 7. Oh no, for this part, remember here, so let's go back and check. This is -2, but outside we have a negative number, so which means here we'll have -2 inside the brackets, minus, so this will be plus. So because a negative times a negative is positive, so 5 plus 7, 5 plus 2 is 7, 7 plus 4 is 11. So our final answer is 11. Okay, so sorry for that mistake, but at least I'm away. Okay, everybody do mistakes, but you should be careful of these mistakes, because they happen sometimes. So this is why it is important to recheck your calculation after you are done with your question paper. You should always recheck because sometimes you will think you wrote the right answer, then you will find out, oh, you used the wrong sign. Okay, so you should be careful when you do these calculations. And yeah, let's do question 4. Okay, so let's do question 4. So I'll write Q4. Okay, Q4. So question 4 says calculate without the use of a calculator and show all your calculations. So I'll show you steps how to really calculate it, even though we can use a calculator, but we should calculate it as if like we don't use a calculator. Okay, so 4.1 says we have a bracket 1 divided by 1 over 4 divided by 3 over 4. Okay, no, inside the bracket is plus, so it's plus. So right, so it's 3 marks. So when we get this type of a question, we have to break the what's inside the bracket, what is inside the bracket, remember. So here, remember, LCD is lowest common denominator. So but when it comes to addition, I mean, we can say, okay, this side I'll multiply by 4, this side I'll multiply by 1. So if I multiply this side by 4, I will have 4, so it will be 4 plus, if I multiply this part by 1, it will be decimals. Okay, so it will be 4 plus 1, which is 5, so it will be 5 over 4. Okay, or let me show all steps. Okay, let me show all the steps like I always do. So I said for the bracket, for this bracket, remember here is the same as over 1. Okay, so I said, okay, or okay, let me open another bracket. So here I will have 4 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 1 plus 1 over 4 multiplied by 1 over 1 divided by 3 over 4. Okay, that's how I show my calculation. That's why I won, because they said you should not use a calculator. Okay, so 4 multiplied by 1, it's 4. It's 4. 1 multiplied by 1 is 1. All over divided by 4. Remember, denominators here will be 4 and here will be 4. So our denominator is 4. Remember here the sign is still the same. Okay, so here 4 plus 1, it's 5. So I have 5 over 4 divided by 3 over 4. You see, so the next step I'll continue and say, okay, now remember here I have 5 over 4, right? 5 over 4. So I divide, remember that it's divide by 3 over 4. Now I will say multiply. Now they will swap, so it will be 4 over 3. Okay, so that's what you should do every time when you divide and you show your calculations. You should multiply. So I will say, okay, here is 5 multiplied by 4, which is 20. Okay, so it's 20. 4 multiplied by 3, it's 12. Okay, so for your final answer, you can do this in your calculator, even though they didn't say use a calculator, but the thing is they want you to show all steps. Okay, so our final answer is 5 over 3. So your final answer is 5 over 3. So in this way you showed all your calculation, and yeah, that's what they want. So you'll get full 3 marks because you showed all your calculation and you got the final answer correctly. Okay, so let's move. So the next question says 4 over 27 of 19 over 19, 9 over 16 minus 1 over 8. So I'll write it down. So it's 4.2. So when you do mathematics, and always when they say of, you should multiply. Okay, so we are given this fraction 4 over 27 of, multiply 9 over 16 minus 1 over 8. Okay, and it's 3 marks. So the first step, I should look for this one. Okay, so when I look for that one, I should press it in our calculator and says, remember, I will show all my calculations. You see, so it's multiplied by 9 over 16, which is 1 over 12. So this one, it become more easily. So this was 1 over 12, so I will say minus 1 over 8. You see, now I'll start to do all my calculation here. So whether it's plus or minus here, you should, okay, I'll do it like I did the previous one. So this part I'll use 8, this part I will use 12. So this part I'll use 8 like this, 1 over 8, and this part I'll use 12. So I will say multiply by 12, multiply by 12. Okay, so for explanation purpose, so remember here I said I will use this denominator. Here I said I will use this denominator, and here I say I will use this denominator. Okay, and if I hide this part, you'll see that one from the question. You see, so but here I used 8. Okay, and here I used 12. You see, so it is not that difficult. So here it will be 8 multiplied by 1. 8 multiplied by 1, it's 8. Okay, so it's 8. This 8 is not well, so let me write 8 here. So it's 8. 1 multiplied by 12 is 12. So remember here it's subtraction, so it's 12. Divide by, so here we'll have the same denominator. Okay, so we can write it as one thing. So it will be 8 multiplied by 12, which is 96. So we'll say, okay, here we have 96. Okay, so I will say, okay, my denominator is 8 minus 12, which is negative 4. So I'll write negative 4 over negative 4 over negative 4 over 96. Okay, which is, when they say show all your calculation without using a calculator, they want you to show every calculation. Okay, so it's negative 1 over 24. So when they say without using a calculator, they don't mean you should not use a calculator at all. No, you should use it, but you should show all your steps. Don't just press on your calculator and come up with your answer. Show us how you get this question. Okay, so for the next question, I will do them on my next video. And yeah, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, and tell others. Thank you.